And there's a microphone. Say, hello.
Hello, episode unhammered.
Are you on UnHammered? Good job, buds.
Episode unhammered.
UnHammered, bud?
I'm a host.
Yeah. Are you? Oh, are you the host?
Yes.
What's your name?
Brantt Myhres.
Brantt Myhres. That's right. And then what do we say at the start of the show?
Brantt Myhres Greenwich.
Yeah, and here we
Go.
here we go. Good job, buddy.
And the episode unhammered.
That's right. That's the UnHammered. That's right, buds.
Why are you filming that?
Well, I'm filming you guys because you guys are hosting the show today, right?
Episode.
Because who's sitting behind you?
Brother.
What's his name?
Choose.
Cruz.
Yeah, I'm Brantt Myhres. And I'm gonna host.
You're the host?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, say well. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you later. Wave.
And everybody doing the way.
Okay. Now wave. Bye.
Bye.
And here we go back. Welcome back to episode 12. Man, are the weeks flying by for me. Literally felt like, I don't know, a day ago I was recording episode 11 and now we're on 12, which is great. And welcome to UnHammered with your host, Brantt Myhres. I hope that you guys all had an awesome week, and I have. It's been good. Like I said, anytime that I can talk in front of you and let you know that I've stayed UnHammered for the week is a win in the win column. And as for you too, that any of you guys are struggling or not even struggling, just on this awesome journey of recovery from addiction, from a disease that tells you don't have it. And fucking wild. So many, it is the only one that tells you you don't have it. Can't get an MRI for a cocaine problem. Can't get an MRI for a DUI. You just can't. Cheers, everybody. What else is going on here this week? So we had a couple questions here. Put on some glasses. And I won't say the name, but the initials are Nick E. Hey, Brantt, just got done listening to the latest episode and happy to say that I am UnHammered another week. Attaboy. Actually, yesterday was my 1 year. Holy shit. So that's pretty cool. No kidding, Nick. Congrats, man, on a year. 1 year's amazing. When they give you that coin, oh boy. You brought up rock bottom in the pod and I thought I'd contribute. Yeah, I had trouble in the early days of Alcoholics Anonymous or NA because I compared instead of relate. Oh, as they say, find the similarities, not the differences, because your head is going to talk to you in those meetings. And it's going to be like, I'm not as bad as this guy or this girl. And, I had to just, even if, the hour meeting that I was there, if I could take one thing, not judge, not compare, if I could relate to one thing. So, Nick, I agree with you. I had a lot of not yets. You guys know what YET stands for? Anybody? You're eligible to. Yet. And it's fucking coming. They come. You're eligible to. And it took me many meetings and shares to realize that everyone has their own rock bottom. Extremely true. Mine was sitting in a jail cell after a DUI, feeling that shame and guilt, knowing that my wife and my two boys needed me, and I was not able to help. I will play that tape back often. Thanks for letting me share, Nick. Wow. Awesome. Yeah, that's cool. You got it in the jail cell. Sorry, guys. One more sip in the morning. Really cool that you got it in the jail cell. People, actually, that's sort of a high bottom. That's a fucking bit of a high bottom. Because as we speak today, there's going to be probably thousands of people around the world that didn't throw the shovel away, and they're still digging. And now their funerals are getting planned. whether that's a 12-year-old, whether that's an adult. It doesn't matter. I seen kids in AA and NA in Los Angeles, California, when I'd walk into a meeting. And it fucking blew me away. There was a kid that walked up to the podium, and he was 15 years old, and he took a 2-year sobriety coin. 2 years at 15. Can you believe it? I'll never forget that. Well, he was a kid. I'll never forget that kid. What he looked like. I couldn't believe it. So kids nowadays are getting, I guess with the internet, when I was trying to get sober in 97, there really wasn't the internet. It was dial-up, right? You had to fucking plug that thing in. But there's just so much info. There's so many shows and podcasts. And speaking of podcasts, what are your other podcasts you guys listen to on sobriety? I'm trying to think of one because before I started this, I did that. I'm like, I just want to listen to some recovery and straight recovery. Talking about reading from the book and almost like a bit of a mini AA or NA meeting that you get for 30, 35, 40 minutes. And I'm like, well, time to start one. What's another question that we had? So Nick, thank you for that. That was amazing. Stacy, hi Brantt. Just listened to episode 11 of UnHammered and wanted to reach out. I am staying unhammered and just celebrated my 90 days of sobriety last Saturday. Exclamation mark. Fucking rights, you got an exclamation mark. I remember my 90 days. I received my coin at my meeting on Sunday. I'm very grateful and determined to stay unhammered. I do also enjoy my non-alcoholic beers. I think that everyone recovers in their own way. And if drinking NA or staying away, whatever alternative works. Congrats, Stacy, on 90. Amazing. Awesome, man. That's fucking great. I remember my 90 days when I wanted it. Not my 90 in my first rehab. We're going to talk about my first rehab too. Just the insanity that, was swirling around me in the first treatment center. But not my last one. Not the fifth one. 90 days, they said to me, Brantt, because at that point I stayed longer than anybody in the treatment facility. Most people stayed. If you're lucky, the insurance paid for 60 days. But this one was 90. And I was at 90, so I believe there was maybe one other person that was there when I first got in. There was like 40 people, maybe 50. But anyways, so they said, Brantt, at your 90 days, we'd like you to, when you get your coin, we'd like you to sit down and address the staff and the people that are in the facility and just talk about your story and what you've been through and what it's been like to, be here for 90 days. Little did I know, I had 5 more months to go. 5 months. Didn't know that at the time. But when I got that 90-day coin in Astoria Point, it meant everything to me. So, Stacy, I can relate with the exclamation mark. Good for you. That's awesome. What else here? Question. Another question. Have you missed the aspect of drinking and doing drugs? That's a loaded question. And it's twofold. Fuck yeah, I did. Fuck yeah, I do. Listen, man, there were moments in my youth where I had a fucking blast. I had a blast. Like it was, I don't know, when you're young and you're 17 or 18 and your early 20s, life is just, getting thrown at you and you're not thinking about consequences. You're not thinking about the future. So I had a blast. Obviously, I don't miss it. I don't miss any of that because, so from 17, when did the problems start? Like real problems? Well, my first treatment center in LA. So that would have been when I was 24. And then it was starting to become not fun anymore because now I'm having to dodge urine testers, and having to lie a lot, having to be a big fat fucking liar, which I was. But for a moment there between 17 and 24, I had a lot of fun, and they say, in recovery with your addiction, it's, it starts out as fun, and then at the end, it's just fun with problems, and then it's problems. And for me, it became problems real quick. So anyways, if you're driving or watching, we're going to finish step 1. And remember when we finished off last week with the line of, and this has been true apparently ever since man had crushed grapes or crushed cocoa leaves. Well, we're going to finish this off. In AA's pioneering time, none but the most desperate cases could swallow and digest this unpalatable truth. Even these last graspers often had difficulty in realizing how hopeless they actually were. But a few did, and when these laid hold of the AA or NA principles with all the fever in which the drowning sea's life preserves, they almost invariably got well. This is why the first edition of the book, Alcoholics Anonymous, published when our membership was small, dealt with low-bottom cases only. It is a tremendous satisfaction to record that, in the following years, this has changed. Alcoholics are addicts who still had their health, their families, their jobs. Ooh, this is a good one. Let's repeat that line. Alcoholics are addicts who still had their health, their families, their jobs, and even 2 cars in the garage, began to realize their alcoholism or drug addiction. Ooh, that's a good one. See, as I've mentioned prior, I didn't think you could be an alcoholic or a drug addict if you had a fucking car in the garage. No way, man. You still had your job? No, but this is good stuff. As this trend grew, they were joined by young people who were scarcely more than potential alcoholics or addicts. They were spared that last 10 or 15 years of literal hell. Oh, the rest of us had gone through. Good. Yeah. Wow. Since step 1 requires an admission that our lives had become unmanageable, how could people such as these take this step? ? Okay, well, we're getting to the end here. Where is it? Man, they talk about the, sorry, I was going over this. How you become unmanageable and, with having stuff. Right, with having stuff in the home. And I think for everybody that's listening to this, other than being, I guess, hooked up to an IV bag and almost dead, if you have anything of worth, let's say, some clothes, decent clothes, or, you're getting up and going to your job and you're making your bills, and kids are getting to school, they're getting fed. So functioning, I guess, in a way. And they just talked about it, how you could get spared 10 to 15 years on this thing, which is incredible. It's so true, though. Was I spared 10 or 15 years? Well, I got sober at 34. I think, I don't know, that's normal age to quit drinking. I would have rather have done it when I was 17 or 18, to tell you the truth. I played for, how many teams did I get a chance with? I think it was 7 NHL teams. And so 7 general managers in the NHL saw something in Brantt Myhres that they wanted to sign. And this was this would have been after the first rehab. And then the second rehab, I had, San Jose, and then Nashville, and the Washington Capitals, and then the third suspension, and the Boston Bruins, and then who else was in there? Calgary Flames at the end. I had like 6 or 7 GMs believe in Brantt Myhres, the fuck up. That's really what I was doing, is I was fucking up. And when I say I wish in hindsight, if I could go back, maybe I would have done it differently with my career and my training and all that kind of stuff. Because 6 or 7 teams took a chance on a fat, out of shape hockey player that I guess I was gifted some skills from up above. I don't know. But could you imagine if I would have trained like Sidney Crosby or Nathan McKinnon in the summer, what I could have done? If I would have just put the bottle down and I would have dedicated the whole summer to training and eating properly. I had no idea about eating. I thought ravioli was like fucking pregame meal out of the can. Add a little cheese whiz in there. But could you imagine? And I often think about that, how my career would have went. But I guess, as Dean Lombardi from the Los Angeles Kings told me one time, Brantt, if quite honestly, you sitting here today, if you didn't go through what you went through, the fucking hell that you went through, I wouldn't have hired you. Unfortunately, I didn't want to hire a guy that you could read about. I wanted a guy that was on the streets and that did it, and so yeah, I wouldn't be here today if I would have changed my life back when I was 17, right? So I guess it was all meant to be. Let's see here. Do you guys remember the first time that you did drugs? Maybe cocaine. And the reason why I say that is we talked about drinking the first time that you drank. Did it have a profound effect on you? Wow, it did on me. Holy crap. So I would have been 21 or 22. And I heard about cocaine, but back then it was expensive. And, I just thought fucking like the gangsters did it, Anyways, so a friend of mine, we go to Penticton, and it's called Peach Fest in British Columbia. And we're partying all day, we're drinking, but we go to this bar called Night Moves. And all of a sudden he goes, "Hey, Myhres," or he calls me Dog. "Hey, Dog, come on into the bathroom." I'm like, "Sure. What's up, bud?" He's like, "Now come on into the stall." I'm like, "What the fuck's going on here, dude?" So anyways, we go into the stall, and he puts this white powder out on the toilet. And I'm like, "What is it?" He was like, "It's all good. The fucking tunes are pumping, right? I don't really know what's going on other than I see white powder." And I think back then it might have even been it was a $5 bill being rolled up. So anyways, he goes, "Snort it." And I said, "Okay." And I go down and I snort this line of coke. And I get up. As I'm washing my hands, the music is starting to get enhanced. And my senses are going off like they've never went off before. And all of a sudden, I open up the door to the bar where the dance floor was. And I felt like John Travolta from Saturday Night Fever as I'm walking out there. And I wanted to just fucking grab every girl on that dance floor and dance with her. And kiss her and hug her and tell her how beautiful she is, even if she wasn't. Even if she wasn't, that's what coke does. It makes you lie. It makes you fucking lie. You can tell stories all night and fucking lie your ass off. Say you're vice president, of the United States. You'll probably believe it. And the other guy on coke will too. But anyway, so when I did that line of coke, so for about, I would say an hour and a half, I just, the drinks were going down smooth and I was feeling incredible. I thought I was looking a little better too. When you think you're better looking on coke. But here's the thing. Here's what I really remember, you guys. We get back to the campsite, okay? And I start to feel this horrible depression. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, oh my God, I feel terrible. And then in my head says, you need another one. You need another line of coke. And so I'm asking everybody at this campsite, I don't even know them, "Hey, do you have any cocaine?" And they're like, "No, man, no. It's like 3 a.m, 3:30. No, man, we don't have any." Oh my God. So that was my experience, was extreme euphoria and extreme depression coming down. I don't know what it was like for you, but write in and tell me. I'd like to know what your experience was like, whether it was, I don't count weed. I don't, heroin, ecstasy, cocaine. Talk about that stuff. Okay. So remember the other book we were talking about, you guys, since this is a recovery podcast, it's not a comedy podcast or nothing like that. Boom. Blue book. Big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Let's read more about alcoholism and drug addiction. I like to add that in, so whatever. I'm going to add it in. More about alcoholism or drug addiction. And I don't need to read a lot today because we're going to read it. But okay, here we go. We learned that we had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics or drug addicts. This is the first step in recovery. Yeah. The delusion that we are like other people, or presently may be, has to be smashed. Fuck. Wow. We alcoholics or drug addicts are men and women who have lost the ability to control our drinking or drug use. That's true. We know that no real alcoholic or drug addict ever recovers control. And they put ever, in that cool little writing, how they do that to highlight it. Ever. Fuck. Okay. All of us felt at times that we were regaining control, but such intervals, usually brief, were inevitably followed by still less control, which led in time to pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization. We are convinced to a man that alcoholics of our type are in the grip of a progressive illness. Holy shit. Progressive. That means it doesn't get better. It gets worse. Let's read that again. We are convinced to a man or woman that alcoholics or drug addicts of our type are in the grip of a progressive illness. I forgot to mention illness. You guys think this is an illness? Do you? You think that you suffer from a disease? I know I do. It's a disease 100%. And it's not willpower. I promise you it's not willpower. If you have what I have. What else, sir? Over any considerable period, we get worse, never better. Okay, we'll just finish this last one here. We are like men who have lost their legs, or women. They never grow new ones. Neither does there appear to be any kind of treatment which will make alcoholics or drug addicts of our kind like other men or women. We have tried every imaginable remedy. Oh my God, this is so true. In some instances, there has been brief recovery. I've had it, 1 or 2 years sober, followed always by a still worse relapse. Physicians who are familiar with this alcoholism or drug addiction agree there is no such thing as making a normal drinker or drug user out of an alcoholic or addict. We're going to end with this sentence. You ready? Science may one day accomplish this, but it yet hasn't done so. Wow. Okay, guys, that was great. So that's more about alcoholism that we'll also touch on a little bit down the road. But I love reading from this stuff. It's amazing. And hopefully you guys enjoy it too. Gives you a little bit of, what's that, oomph in your step. So yeah, somebody was, well, not somebody, but I was talking about doing cocaine, and from that moment in Penticton in British Columbia to where that euphoria, that feeling I was talking about, you guys, I'll tell you a story about where it took me to. I'll tell you a story about where that euphoria took me. And I was in Grand Center, Alberta. And this would have been about 1999, maybe 2000, 2001. Might even have been, no, I'm sorry, it wasn't. It was in like 2003 because I was trying to get, reinstated. I don't know which stage it was. Could have been 2, 3, or 4. Anyways, I'm back home and my grandparents, and I'm staying at the house, and I'm like, hey, Grandma and Grandpa, I'm going to be going out tonight. I'm like, oh, okay, are you driving? You're not drinking or anything. No, I said, no. I said, I'm just going to hop in with a buddy. And they know when I say that, it's not good. So anyways, I go to the bar. I meet this girl, and what was her name? Brenna. Anyways, I meet this girl, and I said, I start drinking. And after 3 drinks, I'm powerless. I can't say no to cocaine. So I said, hey, you got any Coke? She's like, yeah. So I go to this Trans Am, and we're snorting a line off the hood of the Trans Am, and we go back to her place. So now I'm up in her room doing cocaine, and anybody that's done it, you guys know what that's like when there's like half a line left. You're fucking just scraping the mirror. You're licking it at that point. So I go downstairs, and there was a guy sitting in this chair, and he hadn't moved for, 8 hours, and he was smoking crack. And I've never seen anybody smoke crack before. And I said, hey, man, you got any Coke? And he's like, no, I don't. He goes, but I got this stuff. I go, what is it? He goes, it's hard. It's crack. I said, really? How does it make you feel? He said, unbelievable. I said, oh, wow. Mind if I have a pull? So before I have a pull of this, I go out and smoke a joint. And so now it's 8:30 in the morning. And I hit a joint. And I smoke almost the whole thing, and I don't smoke weed. So now I'm high on an 8 ball of cocaine. I smoke a joint, and I'm getting ready to take a hit off a crack pipe. So anyways, I grab the pipe, and I put it to my mouth, and I hit it. And as I hold it in, and as I'm blowing out, I fall to the ground. And as I'm falling to the ground, I grab onto the couch. I said, holy fuck, something's wrong. Something's wrong here. I stand up. My heart is obviously going through my chest at this point, and my head says, you need to leave. You need to go. You need to walk. You need to get fresh air. So as I'm walking down the road, I remember it was a Sunday morning, and it was a beautiful day out. Now I'm in Cold Lake, and as I'm walking down to the lake, what happens is I start overdosing, and my hands start to sweat, and they start dripping, and my throat's clamping up, and I can't swallow. And as I get to where the lake is, I sit down on a curb. And I know now that I'm overdosing because I'm starting to go insane. I'm starting to go crazy. I can't think of anything straight. My head's getting all fucked up. And then a little voice taps me on the shoulder, and it says, go get help right now. So I get up, I stand up, and I walk across the street to this house. I don't know. I knock on the door. It's Sunday morning at about 9 o'clock. And this girl opens the door with a big smile on her face. She goes, hey, how you doing? I said, not good. She goes, what do you mean? I said, I'm overdosing. She says, what? She fucking screams for her husband, so-and-so, run or whatever, right? So he comes over and he looks at my face. He goes, oh my God. He goes, I'll call the ambulance right now. I said, yeah. I said, I need some help. I think I'm going here. So anyways, the poor guy, they're cooking fucking bacon and eggs, and there's me standing overdosing in their front doorstep. Anyways, the ambulance shows up, and I get in the back, and the guy grabs a mirror, and he twists it, and he goes, Brantt? And I go, yeah. And he goes, hey man, it's me, Jim McKenzie. I was your grade 7 gym teacher. I said, oh, hey Jim, how you doing, bud? He's like, oh, better than you. He's like, what'd you do today or tonight? I said, well, I snorted an 8 ball of Coke. I smoked a full joint, and I hit the crack pipe. I said, how about you? I didn't do any of those things. I said, are you going to fucking take me to the hospital right now? I said, and pump my stomach. He says, we'll take care of you. Don't worry about it. So anyways, the ambulance takes me to the Cold Lake Hospital. And guess who's waiting there? My grandparents. My grandparents are in the waiting room. As I'm in the hospital, they take my shirt off. And a doctor walks in, and he goes, open up your mouth. Open up my mouth. And puts a pill under my tongue. He goes, let me know how you're doing in 10 minutes. I said, okay. So he pops his head through the thing there, and he goes, how you doing? I said, fuck, I don't know. I think I need another one. He goes, okay. Puts another Ativan under my tongue. I wake up 6 hours later, and my grandparents are gone. So the most humiliating thing was I had to take a cab back to my grandma and grandpa's. And as I walk in, my grandma's watching TV with my grandpa. And there I am, walking through the living room. And I looked at her and I said, save it. I said, there's nobody that's going to be harder on myself than me right now. And guys, I swore with everything in my body that I was going to be done with drugs and drinking after that morning. And I lasted 90 days. 90 days. Yeah. So anyways, pretty powerful thing we're dealing with. On that note, thank you for all your support and questions and writing in, and I just having a really enjoyable time doing these things. And it's not, yes, it helps me, of course it does, but I'm glad to see that it's helping other people. And that was my goal. Like I told you, 1 view, 1 comment. That's it. We'll keep the fucking cameras going. So anyways, you guys have a great week. Keep each other accountable. Let's all stay unhammered for 1 week at a time. And we'll see you next week. Thanks.